Hi, and welcome to another HC Media Group training course. So today I'm going to be teaching you and sharing some top tips on how to build a healthy culture within your business. But before I do, I just want to talk to you a little bit about myself. My name is Joe Hamilton. I'm an award-winning author in business. And by that I mean, yes, I've got a book out there on the wonderful Amazon, and it's a book on digital marketing, which I'm sure you've probably gathered. And what's it called? It's called Cake. Yeah, that's right. It's called Cake. Why, I hear you say, have you called it Cake? And for me, I just wanted to play on the title, and the book for me is all the ingredients that you'll need to be a successful marketeer. And that's why I called it Cake. It really is a good little read. If you're looking to find out a little bit more about digital marketing, how it works, how to be successful, some top tips, etc., then please look it up. As I say, it's on Amazon and it's called Cake. I am also the managing director of HC Media Group. HC Media Group is the fastest growing marketing agency in Essex. We're based in Colchester, and the business started in 2018 and moved into our offices in April 19. And since moving into our office and moving into that office environment, been much more productive. Our business has just gone from strength to strength. Really, really proud of what we've achieved. As I say, we're the fastest growing marketing agency in Essex. Before all of this, my career started by managing over, it must be 200 retail stores, looking after business management, for instance, so everything from improving culture, motivating and developing teams, to be the best they can, and looking at recruitment and retention as far as HR was concerned, and just as important, the finance. So introducing effective and efficient practices to drive that overall P&L figure, and making that bottom line as healthy as it can. So my specialism is in growing business through finance and business management, and hence the training for HC Media Group. And I just want to be able to share some of my experiences with you guys out there, in as much as these training courses are concerned. I've worked with several household names up and down the country. Started my career with Whitbread, so you may remember Whitbread Inns, really good business back in the day. I then quickly moved into Thresher, which is an off-license chain, one of the biggest off-license chains in the UK back in the 80s. And I started off in a small little store in Romford. There was 10 of us in the store. It soon became a flagship store, and it was one of the most profitable stores within the business, which was fantastic to see and fantastic to be a part of. I then moved into area manager for Thresher, again to be able to share the experiences with other branches in the area. Before leaving Thresher, I ended up as a regional manager looking after a number of area managers. So something I really, really enjoyed, but again, wanted to transfer some of my skills and be able to share some of my knowledge in other businesses across the UK. And because of that, I moved over to the cooperative. So you may be familiar with the brand Co-op, really good business to work for, as the area manager for them for a number of years. Before just recently joining Well. I was with Well for 11 years. So Well is a pharmacy business with stores up and down the country, in a number of high streets. Really, really good business to work for. As I say, I was with them for 11 years as an area manager in Essex and North London, and I guess running an area with all the trials and tribulations of running branches within that location. But again, really successful branches, really successful area. And then I thought, you know what, if I can do this for other businesses, perhaps I can do it for myself. And with that, then became HC Media Group, which again was really, really successful. Not only that, not only working for several household names, I've also worked for several smaller businesses. So again, working with these businesses on a consultancy basis, some of them with 5 or 6 employees, but they just wanted some help and support around motivating and developing teams, how they can be more effective and more efficient, and how can they drive their bottom line profitability. So again, I really enjoyed that, and being able to share experiences with all of those businesses. If you'd like to get in touch with me directly, then please do. Please email me at team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. That's team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. It would be a pleasure to talk to you. Okay, so on with the training. So again, I just want to talk to you about what is a culture. So we hear this all the time. What's the culture like within your business? And the culture really is your brand. So, and why is a culture in a business so important? The company culture, as I say there, is really important to employees because workers are more likely to enjoy their time in the workplace when they fit into a company culture. And employees tend to work when their needs and values are consistent with those in the workplace. But you, as a business owner, need to be in a position to be able to develop that culture and control it in such a way that employees feel that their values are consistent with yours in the workplace. So in a nutshell, building a company culture of engaged employees, because that's what it's about, but it takes years. And it does require consistent execution. So consistent execution from you as a business owner. And I've boiled down our culture strategy within HC Media Group to be able to share with you. And I've put it into 10 really essential components. And they are, in the first instance, core values. So values are those behaviors that never change, no matter which direction the company chooses. So our values are over there on the right. So loyalty, passion, reliability, commitment, all of these are our core values. And we instill this from the first day the employee joins the business. And we do start every meeting with a conversation around values. Not all of them, granted, at any one time, but we will always ensure, I certainly always ensure that, I talk about Lexi, for instance, has always been reliable, and she's always in 40 minutes before her start time. Izzy really loyal to the business in the fact that she's never had a day off sick. And by talking about this all the time, it instills values and it instills the culture within your business that this is acceptable, this is the norm. So core values are really important to make sure that you start to build a culture within your business. And more importantly, you live these values yourself. That's really important to make sure that if you're living these values, then your staff and your team will also. The second one is around sort of camaraderie. So, and camaraderie for me is around having fun. Work sometimes is hard enough to go to on a daily basis, and we need to inject fun. And for me, it's getting to know colleagues, not just as work colleagues, but also outside the office. So this is our crew at HC Media Group. So again, we're not just colleagues, and we are best friends, albeit there is a line there as well. But we employ people that we think will fit sort of that friend, and I say friend loosely. We tend to employ people on their personality as opposed to ability, purely because I believe that you can teach anyone to do anything. You can train anyone to do anything. However, what you can't do is you can't teach or you can't train a personality. And it's really important that a new member of staff coming into your team fits into that group, so you create harmony in the office. So that's what we tend to do as far as camaraderie is concerned. Yeah, we party at the weekends. More traditionally, like on a Friday when we finish work just a little bit early, so we'll take everyone out for a coffee or for a drink, and as I say, it just creates that camaraderie. The third is for us is around celebration. And honestly, don't underestimate the importance of being able to recognize your team or recognize an individual. Um, and this plays to the strength that you need to be really, really consistent. So yes, it's important for your people to hear from the boss, but it also feels great to them to to hear how they've done from their peers. And at HC Media, we have constant celebrations. Now, some smaller than others. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it just might be something as simple as I say there, a small cake in the office, but just to be able to share some success. So somebody's done something really, really well. And the last one we had was Izzy had some training to do on producing a brand new website. She made an absolute cracking job of it, and because of that, we just celebrated her success with a little cake. But again, it was celebrating her success, but sharing it with everybody else in the office. Community community is really, really important. So, and it's part of a successful company's culture, and being able to, or the perception, being able to give back to local community. So, we do this on a regular basis. We will set up training courses. We rent out an office not far from us, quite a large office, a large training room, should I say, and we will invite all of our clients to come to have free training for the whole day on us. And for me, that's giving back to the community, giving back, yeah, it's value, it's added value. So as we build that relationship and we're starting to train people, some people thought perhaps, we were mad being able to train people how to do search engine optimization. But in actual fact, the opposite is true. Because if you train somebody or they understand what search engine optimization is, they're more likely to increase their budget because they can see the benefit. The fact that they can't do it themselves or haven't got the time themselves is neither here nor there, because they will ask us to do it. But more importantly, because they understand it, they're more likely to increase their budget. And that's the mentality behind giving back, and as far as community is concerned, because you understand your client's goals. As a community, we can help them get there, and we can help them achieve. Communication. So we encourage formal and informal communication on a consistent basis at all levels of the company. So we hold weekly meetings on a Monday, and that includes the full team. And what we'll do is we will review what happened the week before, and more importantly, we agree what needs to be achieved by Friday, and we set tasks, objectives, and so forth for every member of the team. And then check their understanding to make sure that everybody understands what needs to be achieved and by when. So again, communication really, really important. We speak about every client, so we will go through the client database to update the team and where we are as far as the workload is concerned for them, and what needs to be achieved to make sure that we have completed their campaign for that particular month. And that way, everybody understands where we are. They understand what the goals are and what the objectives are, so we all pulling in the same direction. So communication, or clear communication, is really, really key as far as the culture of the business is concerned. Caring. So again, don't underestimate caring. You need to show your employees that you genuinely care about them, and ask them how they are. Get to know them personally and their families. And that way, that builds loyalty. But it's also, this should be the culture within your business, that they're not just a number. This is an individual that contributes to the success of your business. And show you care by being a shoulder to cry on if need be. Your door is always open for any issues or any concerns that they may have. So you need to be approachable. If a member of staff feels that they can tell you stuff in confidence, then it's a great place to be. It's a great place to work, and because of that, people will stay with you and will become loyal. And this is all about developing, as I say, the culture within your business. We do it, as I say, with HC Media. We've built that loyal team, purely because it's a safe and a happy environment to work in. And commitment to learning. So again, you need to show your employees, and we've done this by we're totally committed to their professional growth. And again, it can be done in small steps. So for me, I make sure that I have a review with every member of the team once a month, and within that review, it's to understand their performance, give them some honest feedback, but more importantly, find out what they want to learn more of. So something that they're really good at. So identifying what their weaknesses are and being able to put a training in place for that. Identify their strengths and be able to share some of their strengths with other members of the team. You should not or get away from the fact that there is a glass ceiling to training, because people will perceive that, oh gosh, I've done all the training I possibly can. It's probably time for me to leave. Oh my God, you've got to steer away from that. The training that you can offer some of these people and development never stops, and it's really important to make sure that you communicate that with every member of your staff. And don't be afraid to train them. Don't be afraid to train them up to the same level as you are in some instances, or maybe they know more about different platforms that you currently use than you do. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to train your team so that they can leave. That's not a problem. But treat them well enough so they want to stay. And this is around making sure that the culture within your business is such that they feel valued and they feel safe. And that's what a culture within your business will actually bring. Without all of this, you do need to be consistent. And as we know, so culture is based on traditions. So when you come up with some great programs or events, make them regular events and do them consistently. So we'll make sure that we have a party for everybody's birthday, and that individual gets either the birthday or the next day off, just as a nice to have. It's not part of the holiday or anything like that. It's just a nice thing to do, and it's now become tradition. So we also installed something very simple, to have a drink with the directors at the pub on a Friday. So we do finish a couple of hours early, and really as a thank you for working hard. It's tradition, and more than welcome to come. And 9 times out of 10 they do. And it's only just for a couple of hours, but it's just as a thank you and well done. But it's consistent, and it's consistent on a regular basis. So consistency really, really important. Connect. So one of our values around is connect. So don't isolate yourself as a business owner. Don't isolate yourself at the top, and connect with the people at all levels of your business. And in some cases, this might be getting out of your comfort zone, and connect with your staff at a level that they not only see your position as one of authority, but you're also a human being. And because of that, you understand their needs, their training needs, their development. You're there for a shoulder to cry on. You've got an open door policy, and get your staff to know you and your family, much the same as you want to know about them and their family and so forth. Let them know about your family, and what maybe some of your needs are, and what some of your personal ambitions are. Because believe you me, if your employees like you and they trust you, they work harder than anyone else, and they will go the extra mile for you, believe you me. And finally, Chronicles. So as far as Chronicles is concerned, I'd have to say, does everyone in your organization, in your business, know how your company started? Do they know, your personal stories, your personal journey from how you started the business to where you are now? So it's, people want to know that they're part of something special, a part of something unique. So this is a picture of myself, which is on the right, and my business partner, but also happens to be my son-in-law, Chris. And we tell our employees the whole story and the whole journey of how we started HC Media Group. And because of that, they understand where we've come from. More importantly, they understand where what we want to achieve. And because of that, we have set this culture in place, and this is how we operate. And we operate within these parameters, and everyone fully understands that, because we let them know on a regular basis. We even let them know at the interview stage that this is what we are all about. So that's, for me, is around some of the top tips with developing a culture within your business. A cultural change might be slightly different in the fact that, yes, if you're setting up your business, you're a new start, then fine, the top 10 are fine. You may have an existing business and want to change some of that culture. So every business has a culture, regardless. As new employees come into the company, they'll either adapt to company culture or they influence it as well, which is where you have to be really, really careful. To keep your company's culture headed in the right direction, you need to outline to all new employees what's acceptable and what's not acceptable behavior. And we accept this. We need you to be punctual. We need you to be reliable, etc., etc. More importantly, identify non-acceptable behaviour if they are to accept a job within your business. Because if they accept a job within your business, then they accept that the acceptable and the non-acceptable behaviours. A lot of them is generally covered in your staff handbook, and it does outline business expectations of the employee. But for me, the start of the whole culture is around effective communication, even at the interview stage. Something that's really important is don't turn a blind eye, particularly to non-acceptable behaviour. So if you do, it sets a precedent, and it will change the culture of your business as it then becomes the norm. So this is where I say, as far as culture is concerned, you need to live those values yourself and be consistent, because if you do turn a blind eye, you've started to accept non-acceptable behaviour, then the culture will change within your business. So the top tip for me is to tackle a situation there and then, outlining how the situation could have been handled better. So to say to Jane, the way you spoke to that individual on the telephone might have been better handled if perhaps you'd done this, this, and this. And this is what I expect, and this is how I expect you to answer the telephone. So, good morning, good afternoon, HC Media Group, Izzy speaking. How can I help? So that is you then have set a protocol that's how you need the telephone to be answered, and that's your culture, because that will replicate amongst the rest of your team. Good behaviour, going the extra mile, should be encouraged and adopted into the culture. So again, being able to praise somebody for going the extra mile and praising them publicly then also has the benefit of being part of the culture going forward. That then becomes the norm. Going the extra mile becomes the norm, which of course you want to encourage. So I have a little task for you before we move on. Lay out on a piece of paper what you stand for. What are your core values? And what is your culture? And put a plan in place so that your entire team knows what it is. It's really important that you're starting to live your core values before you can even introduce the culture within your business of acceptable and unacceptable behavior. So that's a really good exercise to be able to do. To talk to me on a one-to-one about the subject that you've just learned, then please email me at team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. I'd be delighted to speak to you. So again, just email team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. I hope you enjoy this part of the course. I've been Joe Hamilton. Thank you for listening.